Did you know that every U.S. state has animals on the brink of extinction? These creatures play vital roles in their ecosystems, but habitat loss, climate change, and human activities are pushing them to the edge. In this video, we'll take a journey across all 50 states to learn about the most endangered animal in each one. Alabama. This mouse inhabits the sand dunes of Alabama's Gulf Coast, but its habitat is disappearing due to hurricanes and urban development. It plays a key role in dune ecosystems, helping to disperse seeds and maintain vegetation. Alaska. The bowhead whale is one of the most endangered species in Alaska, primarily due to historical whaling that reduced its population dramatically. These whales, which can live over 200 years, inhabit the cold waters of the Arctic and subarctic regions. Despite legal protections and conservation efforts, they are still vulnerable to climate change and disruptions to their habitat. Arizona. The masked bobwhite quail, native to the grasslands of Arizona, is critically endangered due to habitat destruction, overgrazing by livestock, and hunting pressures. This quail species is known for its distinctive black and white face markings. Arkansas. This giant aquatic salamander lives in clean, fast-moving streams in the Ozark Mountains. Its population has plummeted due to pollution, habitat destruction, and diseases. California. The mountain yellow-legged frog is a critically endangered species native to the high-altitude streams and ponds in California's Sierra Nevada and Southern California mountains. This amphibian has suffered drastic declines due to habitat destruction, pollution, and the introduction of non-native species like predatory fish. Colorado. The southwestern willow flycatcher is a small bird that migrates to Colorado's riparian areas for breeding. This species has been greatly impacted by the destruction of riparian habitats due to water management practices, invasive plant species, and human development. Connecticut. The bog turtle, one of the smallest turtles in North America, is critically endangered and found in select wetlands across Connecticut. Habitat loss from agriculture, urban development, and wetland drainage has greatly reduced its population. Delaware. The loggerhead sea turtle is a large marine turtle that nests along Delaware's coast. It is classified as endangered due to habitat loss, accidental capture and fishing gear, and the impacts of climate change on nesting beaches. Florida. The key deer is the smallest subspecies of white-tailed deer, found only in the Florida Keys. These deer are critically endangered, primarily due to habitat loss from urban development, road accidents, and the impact of hurricanes. Georgia. This whale is one of the most endangered marine mammals, with fewer than 400 individuals left. Its migration routes along the Georgia coast put it at risk of ship strikes and entanglement in fishing gear. Hawaii. The Hawaiian petrel is a seabird native to the Hawaiian Islands. This species is critically endangered, primarily due to habitat destruction from human development, predation by introduced species like rats and mongooses, and light pollution that disorients young birds during their first flights. Idaho. The woodland caribou is a subspecies of caribou that is critically endangered, with its last known populations in Idaho being located in the remote forests of the Clearwater and Selway regions. Habitat loss due to logging, human development, and increasing threats from climate change have drastically reduced their numbers. Illinois. The Hines emerald dragonfly is a rare species found in the wetlands and streams of Illinois. It is endangered due to habitat loss from wetland draining, water pollution, and the disruption of its aquatic habitats. Indiana. The Indiana bat is a small, endangered species of bat native to the caves of Indiana and surrounding areas. This bat has been severely impacted by habitat loss, disturbance of its winter hibernation sites, and the spread of white nose syndrome, a fungal disease. Iowa. The Pleistocene snail is a small, land-dwelling species native to the tallgrass prairie regions of Iowa. This snail is considered critically endangered due to habitat loss from urban development, agricultural expansion, and the destruction of its native prairie environments. Kansas. The Topeka shiner is a small fish species that inhabits the rivers and streams of Kansas, where it faces significant threats from habitat destruction, pollution, and the alteration of water flow, due to dams and agriculture. Kentucky. The gray bat is a cave-dwelling bat species that is critically endangered in Kentucky, primarily due to habitat destruction, human disturbance, and the spread of white nose syndrome. Louisiana. The gopher tortoise is a burrowing species found in the sandy soils of Louisiana's longleaf pine ecosystems. It is considered vulnerable due to habitat loss from urbanization, agricultural development, and fire suppression. These tortoises play a crucial role in their ecosystem by digging burrows that provide shelter for numerous other species. Maine. Once abundant in the rivers of Maine, the Atlantic salmon has seen its population drop drastically due to overfishing, habitat destruction, and competition with non-native species. Efforts to restore the salmon population include dam removals and habitat improvements in the rivers where they spawn. Maryland. The Puritan tiger beetle is a rare and critically endangered insect found in Maryland's sandy shores and coastal habitats. This beetle has been severely impacted by habitat loss due to development, recreational activities, and invasive species. Massachusetts. The Plymouth red-bellied turtle is a freshwater species that inhabits the ponds and streams of Massachusetts. This turtle is critically endangered due to habitat loss from urban development, water pollution, and the introduction of non-native species. Michigan. The Kirtland's warbler is a small, brightly colored songbird that nests in the jackpine forests of Michigan. Once considered on the brink of extinction, this species has faced significant threats from habitat destruction and brood parasitism by the brown-headed cowbird. Minnesota. The rusty-patched bumblebee is a once abundant pollinator species that is now critically endangered in Minnesota due to habitat loss, pesticide use, and climate change. This bee is known for its distinctive rusty-colored patch on its abdomen. Mississippi. The dusky gopher frog is one of the most endangered amphibians in the United States, found mainly in a few isolated areas in Mississippi. It lives in sandy pine forests and depends on temporary, fishless ponds for breeding. Habitat destruction, fire suppression, and changes to its fragile ecosystem have critically reduced its population. Missouri. This unique beetle is responsible for bearing small animals and laying eggs on them for its young. Habitat loss and pesticide use have severely reduced their numbers. Montana. The Kootenai white sturgeon is a massive freshwater fish native to the Kootenai River in Montana. This ancient species, which can live for over 100 years, has been critically endangered due to habitat alterations caused by dam construction, which disrupted natural water flows essential for spawning. Nebraska. This small, brightly colored beetle is found only in a few areas of Nebraska and faces extreme threats from habitat destruction and invasive species. Its habitat in wetland areas is shrinking due to agricultural development and climate change. Nevada. One of the rarest fish in the world, the devil's hole pupfish lives in a single, deep water cavern in Nevada. It faces existential threats from water level fluctuations, habitat degradation, and low genetic diversity. New Hampshire. The northern long-eared bat is a small, forest-dwelling bat species found throughout New Hampshire. It is critically endangered due to habitat loss and the devastating effects of white nose syndrome, a fungal disease that has decimated bat populations across North America. These bats rely on forests for roosting and foraging, and they hibernate in caves and mines during the winter. New Jersey. The red knot is a remarkable migratory shorebird that visits New Jersey's coastal areas during its long journey from the Arctic to South America. This bird is endangered due to habitat loss, climate change, and a significant decline in horseshoe crab populations, whose eggs are a critical food source during the bird's migration stopover in the Delaware Bay. New Mexico. The Mexican wolf, the smallest and rarest subspecies of the gray wolf, is critically endangered and found in parts of New Mexico. Once nearly extinct, these wolves face threats from habitat loss, illegal killings, and limited genetic diversity. New York. The piping plover is a small, sand-colored shorebird that nests along New York's coastal beaches and sand dunes. This species is endangered due to habitat loss, human disturbances, and rising sea levels. North Carolina. The West Indian manatee, sometimes called a sea cow, occasionally visits the coastal and inland waters of North Carolina during the warmer months. These gentle, slow-moving creatures are endangered due to habitat loss, boat collisions, and water pollution. North Dakota. The pallid sturgeon is a prehistoric fish species found in the Missouri and Yellowstone rivers of North Dakota. This critically endangered fish faces threats from habitat loss and alterations to river flow caused by damming and water management practices. Ohio. The eastern Massasauga is a small, shy rattlesnake found in Ohio's wetlands, prairies, and marshy habitats. This snake is listed as threatened due to habitat destruction, wetland drainage, and human persecution. The Massasauga plays an important role in controlling rodent populations and maintaining ecological balance. Oklahoma. The red-cockaded woodpecker is a small, black and white bird found in the pine forests of Oklahoma. This species is endangered due to habitat loss from logging, fire suppression, and the encroachment of hardwood forests. Oregon, the leatherback sea turtle, the largest of all sea turtles, is known to migrate along Oregon's coastline. This species is critically endangered due to threats such as entanglement in fishing gear, loss of nesting sites, and climate change. Leatherbacks primarily feed on jellyfish, and their decline can have cascading effects on marine ecosystems. Pennsylvania. The bog turtle is a small, endangered species found in wetland areas in Pennsylvania. It is the smallest turtle in North America and is threatened by habitat loss due to development, agriculture, and drainage of wetlands. Rhode Island. The American burying beetle is a large, strikingly colored beetle that once thrived across much of the eastern United States, including Rhode Island. This species is critically endangered due to habitat loss, pesticide use, and the decline of its primary food source like dead animals. South Carolina. The frosted flatwood salamander is a rare amphibian found in the wet pine savannas and flatwoods of South Carolina. This species is critically endangered due to habitat destruction from urbanization and land development, as well as alterations in fire regimes that affect its breeding grounds. South Dakota. The black-footed ferret is a small carnivorous mammal native to the grasslands of South Dakota, and it is considered one of North America's most endangered species. This species relies on prairie dog colonies for food and shelter, and its population has been severely impacted by the decline of prairie dogs due to habitat destruction and poisoning. Tennessee. The Nashville crayfish is a freshwater species found only in the waters of Davidson County, Tennessee, making it one of the most endangered crayfish species in the United States. Habitat destruction, water pollution, and urbanization have severely impacted its population. Texas. The Atwater's greater prairie chicken is a rare and iconic bird species native to the coastal prairies of Texas. This bird faces severe threats from habitat loss due to agricultural expansion, urban development, and the encroachment of non-native grasses. Utah. The Utah prairie dog is a small, burrowing rodent found only in the grasslands and shrublands of southern Utah. This species is endangered due to habitat loss from agricultural expansion, urban development, and human-caused fires. Vermont. The Canada lynx is a medium-sized wildcat found in the dense boreal forests of Vermont. This elusive predator is endangered due to habitat loss, human encroachment, and a decline in its primary prey, like the snowshoe hare. Virginia. The Shenandoah salamander is a small, endangered amphibian found only in the high elevations of the Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. This species is threatened by habitat loss due to human development, climate change, and the encroachment of non-native plant species. Washington. The Taylor's checkerspot butterfly is a striking and endangered species found in the prairies and meadows of Washington state. Its population has significantly declined due to habitat loss, invasive plant species, and fragmentation of its natural environment. West Virginia. The Virginia big-eared bat is a medium-sized bat species that resides in the forests and caves of West Virginia. It is endangered primarily due to habitat loss from cave disturbances, the destruction of roosting sites, and human-induced changes to its environment. Wisconsin. The Carner blue butterfly, once widespread, now faces a dramatic decline due to habitat loss from land development and the spread of invasive plant species. The butterfly relies on wild lupine for its larvae. Wyoming. The Wyoming toad is a rare amphibian found only in a few isolated wetlands in Wyoming. This species is critically endangered due to habitat destruction, water diversion, and the introduction of non-native species. The toad relies on specific wetlands for breeding, and its populations have drastically declined in the face of changing water conditions and invasive predators. As we've seen today, many species in the United States are on the brink of extinction, and it's crucial that we take action to protect them. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos.